Hey guys, okay, so this is a terrible start. Wow, this is difficult, way more difficult than I thought. Anyway, um, well, why we have editing, right? Okay, so we'll start with this. Howdy, my name is Gabriel Cornejo, and I went through a bit of a unique journey to get here. And I'm glad that I have this opportunity because I'm now able to share my opportunity and my journey, so to speak, with you all, and to encourage whoever it may be watching this video to continue working toward coming to a UC in general. So essentially, my journey starts off right after high school. I decided I was going to go to Baylor University to redshirt on their baseball team as a catcher, and my path was kind of thrown awry by COVID, as many others were as well. So in terms of the challenges, that was certainly one of them. It was a mental hoop getting here because I was never going to do engineering. I was going to do biology or then business or whatever it may be that was frankly easier than engineering. I would have never decided to do engineering, and here we are. You know, life throws curveballs. So for me, it was a mental challenge. If this was not the way my life was supposed to go, but here we are. And I would say that for anybody else in my same shoes or similar shoes, to take it with grace. You know, take life in strides. Yeah. So. And to go from there, and to say, you know what, I'm going to accept these challenges, and I'm going to move forward. So that was my ultimate challenge in terms of getting here. I went from there, then to JC, and from JC I went to one of my local JCs. That's too local to me, and went to another one. And I went to the United States Coast Guard Academy, where I absolutely loved it, but they didn't love my asthma, so I didn't go through so well. Long story. So yeah, it was a lot of mental stuff. And went to another JC and then got here. So in total, I've been to 5 colleges before I finally ended up here within the span of about 3 years. So it was a bit of whiplash. I would say that if you're going to face any sort of challenge in general, right, that's obviously going to come from semester to quarter system. This is obviously the big one that everybody's going to talk about, semester to quarter system and all that good stuff. But it's gonna be all in your head. You're gonna get here and you're gonna realize, yeah, quarter system's fast. If I stay on top of it, though, it's very manageable. It's not impossible. You know, this is not an impossible task. It's a very, very cool thing to be at a UC. All the opportunities that you'll hear about. But you shouldn't concern yourself with that when you're still in JC. You shouldn't concern yourself with like, oh, you know, what can I get involved with? What clubs, etc. over there? Like, yeah, but do well in JC. You know, learn what you can there. The basics are truly so important once you get here. I'm studying civil engineering. I'm structural engineering. I should have started with that. I'm studying structural engineering, and there's a class that I took at JC called statics. Statics is just unbelievably paramount to your success in this realm and in this discipline. And if you are not paying attention in your JC class, or you're not doing well there, it's not even the grade. That's like, yeah, I mean, the grade's important obviously if you want to get in here, but that's not. It's UC Irvine. Like, this is in Berkeley. You know what I mean? So don't stress over that sort of thing. You know, learn the material. Number one, and then get over here. So that's ultimately the number one thing is just don't. I'm a realist. I'm not somebody who's just gonna be telling you it's all fun and games, and I'm also not somebody who's gonna be over here like it's just super hard once you get here. Like, fine, you know, just stay disciplined, avoid drugs and alcohol, of course. It can't be overstated once you get here, and you'll be fine. You know, just make sure you stick to your guns. Whatever worked for you in JC, don't change once you get here. You know, keep that and just realize that. As I did, that I'm lucky to be here. There's not a lot of people in the United States and in general who have the opportunity to come to a place like this. So if you get this opportunity, then take it and roll with it, you know. And do the best that you can. You know, that's the ultimate thing that's asked of you. So just, yeah, take your community college connections and don't lose those. Maybe you have questions once you get here, like, man, I just don't remember how to do XYZ. Maybe your community college professors can help. Maybe some of your friends from community college can help that went to a different university or still at community college. They're still there. They're still humans. Reach out to them. Use your resources. The power of the network is real. Sound like a business student, but really, the power of the network is real. So, no shade on business students. So once you get here, though, you know, there's a few things that you should be aware of before you get here. First, as I said earlier, you know, don't be too concerned with it. First and foremost, housing. Jump on housing. If I had to tell you like one thing, you know, what's the number one thing you tell me before you got here? There's one big thing: housing. Now, this will depend on where you go for university. Whether you end up at UC Irvine, whether you end up at wherever you are, just housing will bite you. So make sure you're on top of that, and make sure you're looking out for all the resources, because you may Google it and you're like, oh look, well there's housing offered here, here, and here, and here. Yeah, and the window to get into that housing is like this long, man. Like, it's like you got like 2-week window, and you may not know when that window is. 2-week window. You got like a 2-day window in some cases. Really, like it just opens and fills. It'll say it's open for 2 weeks, but everybody knows it's open for 2 weeks, and more people want that housing than there are spaces available, and you will get crammed. Make sure that you are on top of your housing. That's the number one thing I can give you. You can work off from there. If you don't have a place to stay, forget it. You know, and you're gonna then you're stuck getting somewhere like an hour and a half off campus. Like that's extreme. But you know, like 20 minutes off campus or something, and then just forget it. You know, so make sure you're on top of that, 100%. The second to last thing I'll get into is, ultimately, when you get here, you're going to be hit with these engineering classes, right? As a transfer student, you're going to be hit with all of these classes that are not quite like what you're used to, right? You're used to maybe more structured classes, a little bit more hand-holding, etc. By hand-holding, I mean like modestly different. At least from my JC, it was luckily relatively rigorous. But you're gonna get here, and essentially what's gonna happen in all reality is you're gonna go to your classes, your lectures, you're gonna go to your office hours. You may find your office hours are helpful, you may find they're not, but go. Develop a relationship with your professor, etc. And the main difference you're gonna find is that here, the professor will, if you put in the effort to get to know him and to care about his class, or him or her, then she will or he will be very adept and willing to help you and to develop a relationship with you, and ultimately, you know, foster your relationship, your success in that class. If you're not putting in the effort, why? They're not going to put in the effort. They're not. They're research professors most of the time, at a UC at least. They're research professors. They don't have time to throw energy into a student that is not willing to reciprocate. So make sure you're putting in effort, and just understand that a lot of it will be up to you. It's not like people just they you know, some people have described it as, you know, the mama bird that kicks the baby bird out of the nest and says fly. You know, well, it's like that, but not really, because you can also imagine baby bird can halfway down the way down the fall go, wait, I want a little bit of help, and stop and pause and go ask your TA or your professor, whoever. There's resources there, 100%. You're not just thrown into the abyss. You're not, especially if you can get involved with something like STEM, you know, then which is a scholarship program. So it's develop connections, get to know people, friends, etc. And if you put in a little bit of effort into getting to know the people, into building, here we are with the network thing again, building a network, you're almost building a safety web. You know, you're getting to know people, you're fostering relationships. This is huge. So in an essence, it's more complicated than that, you know, than getting kicked out of the nest. In an essence, but you have help. It's like getting kicked out of the nest, but you have a bungee cord on. You know what I mean? You got a little bit of a safety net. Or it's like rock climbing, right? There you go. You're rock climbing with the harness on. You're not free soloing. You'll be fine. The other thing is that I'll end with here is to just offer a little bit more encouragement in general, right? You may have an imposter syndrome. I don't know if I would have said that I really experienced imposter syndrome. Previously, I'd been at Baylor in the academy, the Coast Guard Academy, so it was not like I was like, oh, I've only been at JC, or I've only seen that, I've only seen that. And even if I had only been at JC, I don't really think that I still would have felt imposter syndrome. Like, I've worked hard to get here, and I'm sure all of you have too, and all of you will if you haven't finished all your classes yet, etc. Like, this is not something that you should feel. From my experience, and from the experience of some of my buddies too, we find that many times the transfer students are outperforming those who aren't transfers, because we're here and we're realizing, wait a minute, like we don't want to lose this. You know, this is an opportunity. Of course, it's a great opportunity, and we're happy to be here. We're happy to finally be here, happy to flourish and learn as much as we can, and to develop ourselves and along our group, our group mates, etc. You know, again, this is something that cannot be overstated. Is that you shouldn't feel an imposter syndrome, and you shouldn't feel like you're not welcome here, or anything like that. Just stick to it, stick with it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, that you can't do it, or that it's just impossible, or it's just crazy because it's a UC and you're going to the quarter system. Blah 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 blah. Relax, you'll be fine. You got it. Peace.